Hello, good afternoon. This is Deloar Khan, your host for the DK Live. We are broadcasting from Long Island studio. In this broadcast, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, you see we are bringing a lot of guests, industry professionals, and we're talking about some hot topics. And all the industry professionals from different fields, they're coming and they're adding a lot of values over here. And today, I have an amazing guest. Before coming to the guest, I'm just going to give you a little bit information that we are on the live on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any questions, you can add in the chat box and my guest will be trying to answer those questions. Let's go back to the guest. Here you go. We have a Rhonda Klch from Equity First. Rhonda, welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is exciting.
I'm excited too because Rhonda, before going to our topic today, as we're going to be discussing about budgeting of holiday season today, um, uh, whoever they don't know about you, let's talk about yourself a little bit, what you do and how you spend your life.
It's a big question.
Yes.
So, for those that don't know me, my name is Rhonda. And for the last 25 years, I have specialized in working with consumers and businesses that have financial disruption. And this generally affects also their credit. So, we are what my staff, myself, we are what's known as credit and financial problem solvers. So we deal with a lot of centers of influence, such as attorneys, accountants, financial planners, bankers, title professionals, because these are centers of influence that identify a client with a problem, but they don't necessarily understand how to create the solution. So we are that solution center. We love working with clients that have credit and financial challenges. So we create amazing, what we call action plans, right? It's your, plug and play. If
Plug
A,
and play.
then, if A, then B.
Hmm.
In addition to that, I also host a radio show called The Credit Authority. That's weekly on Saturday and Sundays. You can tune in to Long Island News Radio 103.9, or you can stream it live, watch it as it's streamed live as well at linewsradio.com. And when I'm not doing that, I'm hanging out with my family. I'm a mom of 5 kids and I live on a farm. It's amazing.
That's great. That's great. So okay, before going to the show for the audience, we are live. You streaming this one using the program called StreamYard platform. So please grant StreamYard. If you are watching the Facebook, please grant StreamYard. You have the website. If you don't grant it, if you make any comments, we cannot see your name. So you're gonna see like a no name. We're gonna be asking you like a no name user, right? So that's a small notice. So now let's go back to our topic today. So our topic today is budgeting for holiday season. We are all waiting for the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're excited. We have passed so tough time last 1 year, and we all are waiting for this moment. People are coming out of their cave and they are trying to engage with other people in the real world, right? So Rhonda, I have a questions regarding this, that budgeting for holiday season. Normally, listen, I personally, I don't have any plan for the budgeting for the holiday season. So the question is coming like, what is the hardest part is speaking? um, you do a lot of credit things in the other finance, right? Always you're talking to the customer, right? So when you're talking to the customer, not all the people are, they're comfortable with that talking their finance and their budgeting. How do you deal with that? It's not easy, right?
It's definitely not easy. We get a lot of clients that are in denial. They have the money, but they are spending more than maybe they're making. And just to kind of tie that into the holiday season, what we see are clients that come to us. And the reason why it was important that we speak about this topic in at the end of October is because statistically speaking, my busiest month every year is February.
Really?
The reason why is because January is when all the credit card bills, and realization has set in that the holidays are now behind them. And February becomes panic month, right? It's the month where they are trying to figure out what could they have done differently. So when we have clients that are coming in to talk about budgeting and how to set appropriate expectations around a budget, we always want to start with breaking down the necessities and setting expectations. Every family is a little different. I have 5 children. So for me, if I'm calculating a budget, do I want to appropriate and give each one of those children the same amount of items?
Mhm.
As they get older and as you're able to communicate with your children about what I call time value of money, which is really based around mom has to work this much in order for me to produce this result. So as children get older, it's important that they have an understanding to the overall household budget. So a lot of times when we have clients that are coming in to talk about budgeting, we have to first start with setting the expectations and seeing exactly what their spending habits are and figuring out where we can maybe shave a little bit off.
So, in other words, you are saying like whenever there is spending, they have to have a plan like what is required and what they can avoid, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
they have to make, because sometimes whenever credit card, especially credit card, is unseen, you are just spending the credit card without knowing how much balance do you have, right?
They're just, the holiday season is very emotional and overwhelming. And especially if somebody doesn't have a budget set aside for the holidays, it's easy for them to say, I just want to do one more. I just need to get one more item. I saw this in the store and it was 70% off. Well, even if it was 70% off, however, that item was still another $200.
That's
You
right.
have to still calculate what that does overall. And it's very easy to have parents get guilted into keeping up with what everybody else is doing. So again, it goes back to having communication with your children, and children that are generally under the age of 8, have one level of expectation. When they get to be around in that 4th grade, 5th grade, it's a little different. And then, of course, in high school, it's different again. So you have different situations on how you can handle spending and what is a necessity. So, for example, if you have a family that has several children, is there an item that you can purchase that could become a household item? What I'll also recommend is having, which most people do anyway, write out a list of priorities. And then what we will do is actually speak to the parents about doing a homework assignment with their children. It's great that they may have 10 items on their list, but how much does each one of those items cost? And is there another item of similar type that could become a substitute? So if your child writes down on their list that they want to have a new Mac computer, well, maybe having a new Apple is not in the budget, but they could look and create a realistic budget for a similar item that might be less expensive, right? And not be so focused always maybe on the name brand, and be more focused on what it is about that item that brings enrichment to that child. And then create the expectations. I have clients that will say to me, I have a teenage daughter, everything on her list is clothes from store A. And that's
Mhm.
okay. But again, it's setting the expectation, taking some time to maybe recognize the style and what it is. And again, look for alternatives. Even teenagers that are looking for a specific scent, maybe for cologne or for perfume, it doesn't mean that you have to buy the bigger bottle. You can get away with maybe something a little smaller or a gift set. There's so many little, again, like I call them tips and tricks for the holiday season, but starting now is very important. And one of the bigger ones that I always recommend to my clients, because this is good for all year long, we talk about holiday budgeting,
Hmm.
but we always think about our family. We don't always think about our coworkers, the people that work for us, the bus driver, the nail technician,
Absolutely.
your
Yeah, we forget.
mailman.
Yeah.
Right? You think about all the other people that you want to thank during the course of the year for being who they are and being special to you. So, one of the things that I normally recommend, and this is good for all year long, is if you go to Wendy's, while you're at Wendy's, and it's not important because we're not in the holiday season yet,
Mhm.
grab a $10 gift card. And then a few days later, if you're at Friendly's with your children, buy another $10 gift card. If you happen to be out at TGI Fridays, get another, $10 gift card. Or you could do 20 or you could do 5. The idea is that you can stock up on gift cards to some of the places that you like to frequent, your children and or others. And what that will allow you to do is spend only a little bit of money at a time so it doesn't seem so overwhelming. But when the holiday season comes, it's easy to take a gift card, put it in an envelope or a holiday card, sneak in that gift card, and it's done. It's processed. It's out of sight, out of mind.
So now, yeah, just a follow-up question. One came in from the audience. Linda is asking, okay, you are giving the tips, right? So now she's asking, let's say in the holiday season, we see a lot of sale, discount, that prompt everyone to buy like a crazy.
Mhm.
How to technically avoid that and reduce that, that, you know,
The urge to shop.
addiction? Yes. How to work with that?
So again, it goes back to setting the fundamentals. What we recommend is that they create a good old fashioned spreadsheet.
Hmm.
Who do you have to purchase for? How many, what is that budget per person? So again, do you have a mom, a dad, a sibling, nieces, nephews, children, coworkers? And it's important to identify what's there and then shop accordingly. Again, looking at something that's on sale makes everybody want to run and jump. But what's important is, again, analyzing the cost of the item to the overall budget. So if, Kohl's is running a fantastic sale, and then with your Kohl's cash, you're going to get another $10 or $20, you need to create a pause. Get your Kohl's cash and go back at a later date and use your free dollars, right? So
That's right.
it's
Yeah.
all about setting the expectations again, and then having the ability to recognize that it's okay that you're fulfilling your list. It's not about how much money you spend. It's more about the quality of what you've chosen and the fact that you are thinking about somebody else other than yourself during the holiday season.
So you are saying just change the habit and make a good habit every day, right? Every day practice or every
Mhm.
week or every month. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, changing that habit, right? We need to
It's not.
have like some
And
source of,
I'll give you a great example,
yeah.
right? We have specifically with children, it's easy for me to speak in that space.
Mm-hmm.
How many sweaters, sweatshirts, t shirts, baseball hats, or pairs of socks do your children need? We love expressing ourselves in our culture by expressing ourselves in giving more, as if more presents means we love you more. That's not true. We all know that's not true. So at
That's
the end of the day, again, even when items are on sale, how many pairs of pajamas do your children need? They don't. So, again, what I usually recommend is if somebody feels the need to have to excessively purchase, Let
Mhm.
them adopt a child from their local church, sponsor a family for the holiday, get involved in maybe some philanthropy during the holiday season. There are people that have the dollars to do that. So shopping for them during the holiday season makes them feel warm and fuzzy. It's not always about the budget, it's about the experience. But again, sometimes more does not mean more. It's not necessary. So again, maybe if you have the extra dollars or you have found yourself fantastic sales, but you've already fulfilled your holiday wish list for your friends, family, coworkers, etc. It would be a nice opportunity to be philanthropic during the holiday season and consider making a donation to, a Toys for Tots or a church or a school where there are families that are desperately in need of these particular items to be able to, fulfill their family wish list.
Yes, so one of the question came from the Facebook, Jennifer, one of the viewers. So she's asking, what is a good budget for a child to spend on holidays? Do you have anything like that?
So it's what I normally do is speak to families individually
Hmm.
about their income. So a family that makes $50,000 a year will probably have a different budget for their children if somebody's making $500,000 a year or even $100,000 a year. So normally what I would say is to carve away maybe about 10%, right?
10%.
10%
Okay.
of whatever your, whatever feels comfortable from your net income, not your gross income. So, for example, if you have small children, again, you can get away with less than if you have a child that's maybe in middle school or in high school, right? Because at that
Mhm.
point, it's more about tangibility. So when creating the budget, I always tell them you have to make sure that you're covering all of your necessities first, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a compromising position to give something to your child and then be putting yourself in an uncomfortable position come January or February when you have rent or a mortgage or a car payment that then needs to sacrifice.
Absolutely. Do Another question just came in from James. He's asking, do you have any savings account, something like that, holiday savings account, anything?
Sure. So there are actually some credit unions that will do a holiday savings account. The other thing that you could do a lot of times through your own companies where they have payroll is I call it a kitty, right? That's my word,
Kitty.
a kitty.
Okay.
So for those people that don't actually belong to a union that have a holiday savings account, you can create your own. And the easiest way to do that is to set it up directly through your payroll company. Open up another checking account or savings account, identify a comfortable amount that you could live without in every paycheck. So for example, if you knew that you get paid every week, you are comfortable with $50 a week, that $50 a week would not come into your normal direct deposit. It would be directly deposited into another savings or checking account that you set up. And that particular money is put aside specifically so that it is available for you when the holidays come. And it just means that you've been saving all year so that you can stress a little less about having a budget put aside.
It's like a college account or something.
Along the same lines,
So normal bank, Chase, Citibank, they don't do this kind of account.
not necessarily. What you would really need to do is most of the holiday savings accounts that I know of are generally offered directly through unions
Hmm.
and or directly through credit unions. So if you wanted to open up an account specifically for holiday savings, it doesn't need to be called holiday savings. It's just a matter that you know that you have taken the time and the accountability to
Hmm.
open up that account and weekly or biweekly, monthly, whatever it may be, put that money into that account and not touch it so that it is specifically used for the holiday season.
That's excellent because I had no idea about that one. I learned something new today. Rhonda, thank you. So, Rhonda, actually, whatever we see that this budgeting and this is kind of is all belongs to the personal habit, right? So, is there anywhere parents or whoever is struggling this kind of things can go learn something and create a habit? Do you have any tips or tricks for that?
So there's a lot of apps that people could download for free. And there are plenty of informational videos that are available on YouTube. If somebody is really looking to get themselves out of debt and start making healthy financial choices, by all means, there are no lack of resources that are available if they are interested in taking the time. It really starts with commitment. And my biggest advice to anybody that's trying to change any type of habit is to have somebody that they trust that will become their accountability partner. It is
Mm,
very difficult to start to learn to do anything for the first time. You need a cheerleader pushing you to do, to do something good. So of course, at my company Equity First, we do that for our clients. But there are plenty of opportunities to share what you're going through with a friend or a coworker, just like if you were dieting, right? If you were on
mhm.
a diet and changing your eating habits, you would say to your coworkers, I am, I'm starting a diet. I'm changing my healthy, I'm eating healthy. And hopefully, if somebody saw you at the vending machine grabbing a bag of chips, they would remind you not to do that and redirect you to do something differently. And with money and budgeting, it's the same thing. So when somebody's really trying to put themselves in a better financial position, it's important that they have somebody that they trust, that they can confide in, that can help them during that period of time, especially if they are somebody that likes to spend. There's a difference between lack of resources or dollars coming in versus somebody that has a spending habit, right?
Okay,
It's
so
different.
thank you so much, Rhonda. So we're talking about the budgeting, right? So let's talk about a little bit distress situation. Like we have a lot of financial struggling. A lot of people are going through that problem with the COVID and other things. Let's say right now we are almost November, right? And we don't have the holiday season is not far. So whoever is struggling this kind of things, like is struggling with the financial things, what do you have recommend for the any tips because you always deal with this kind of situation, right? Do you
Mhm.
have any
Well,
hope for them how they can celebrate the still holiday?
absolutely. First of
Yeah.
all, there are plenty of not for profit organizations that actually offer gift giving for families that are in need. And including myself, I actually run, at which you probably wouldn't have known, I
Mhm.
run an organization called Holiday Dreams. This year
Oh,
will be our 11th year, and we sponsor approximately 600 children a year for the
really?
holiday season.
Amazing.
Yeah, visit. It's a Facebook page. You can go look. the
Okay.
but there are plenty of not for profits that are there to help. There are also your school districts that are there to help. So if you are a parent that has a child in the school district, reach out to your to their counselor, to their guidance counselor or to their social worker at the school. They actually compile a list and then they have families within the community that will actually do toy drives. They have members of the staff that will do different toy drives. They will sponsor certain children, and that's all done anonymously, right? So
Mm,
if you are embarrassed because of your situation, don't be. There are organizations and the school there to help you. In addition to that, a lot of times your local firehouses, they also participate in different types of toy drives and community drives, even for clothes and jackets and winter wear. So reach out to your local firehouses, your school districts, not for profit organizations. And most importantly, we forget about our thrift stores, right? Like our
mhm.
secondhand stores. If you are somebody who is really, really struggling on a very tight budget, please visit a thrift store, a secondhand store. You would be surprised at how many items actually have tags on them. People are donating to these stores because a lot of them are associated to a not for profit organization. So you can go in, you're supporting your local not for profit, but you're also helping yourself. And you can find so many wonderful items at a fraction of the cost just by shopping at a secondhand store.
That's amazing tips. Rhonda, we're almost end of the today's show. So really, we got a lot of. I have a lot of notes. I've learned a lot of things personally today from you, and definitely somebody whoever can join it today live, they will watch again, and I'm gonna watch again to learn more in depth. And if you can just Rhonda, the non-profit you are saying, if you can just put a link over there in the Facebook, that could be awesome. Then we
Mhm.
can recommend someone who are struggling. Always we like to help the community, right? That's our part of, as a professional, that's our job to add value to the community, and we're dedicated for that. Thank you so much, Rhonda, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Okay.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, dear viewers. Today, Rhonda gave us an amazing information about tricks and tips for the budgeting, and we all learn so many things. And in the future, we're going to be talking about more about the current topics. We're going to be bringing more professionals. And until now, this is your host, Deloar Khan, just signing off.